Hello, how to fill out Form 941 for 2023 quarter 1. So you'll go to IRS website. If you are required to file Form 941, you'll go to IRS website, irs.gov, and you can go through our website too. Our website, nenasoap.com. We do have the sidebar where you can find IRS instructions, link to IRS instructions and form, and when you click on it, you'll be able to find the form you are looking for if it's there, and when you click on it, it will take you to the form from IRS website. So you'll type Form 941. If you are going through IRS website, you'll type it in the search bar and you press enter, and it will take you to the form, and you'll download the form 941, the latest version, and the instructions. But we do have the link on our blog as well to the form. We do have this link already for some form on our website that you can access if you want. nenasoap.com. And when you scroll down, you will find federal form and instruction. So when you click on it, it should take you to the different forms that we have. If you are looking for a form on IRS website and you couldn't find it, you will be able to find it. You can check our blog to see if it is there for you to open it from there. So it should open the latest version for you as well. But yeah, we do have those forms, or some of those forms, the link to those forms on our website that you can take a look at. So we do have Form 941 form and the instructions, and it should be able to take you back to IRS link where the form is. Okay, so you will pull the form, you save it, and let's get started. So first, you will enter your business EIN number, and before you start filing the payroll tax return, you might want to have the payroll taxes data on hand. So line name, you will put your business legal name. That is the name you entered when you apply for the EIN number. You can find it on the SS4 form. So you make sure you enter the name exactly the way you have it on the EIN number form. If you have a trade name, you'll enter it. If you don't, it's like a DBA. If you don't, you leave it blank. So if you are a sole proprietor, chances are your business legal name will be your own name. But just check your EIN form to see what you use. So you'll enter your business address, the city, the state, and the zip code. And I like to keep the cap on so that everything is capital. So report for this quarter of 2023. So you'll choose the quarter you are filing for, and for this example we are filing for quarter 1, January, February, March. So you'll check that. Form 941 Part 1. Line 1. Number of employees who receive wages, tips, or other compensation for the pay period including, quarter 1. So for quarter 1 it will be January, February, March payroll. So you are going to pull your payroll spreadsheet. They say the number of employees that you paid. So we are going to pull the payroll spreadsheet. And the staff, I think the staff may not necessarily show that, but and here we can see there are 2 people that collect salary in this example, and the total wages tab actually summarized by employee. So helpful report for unemployment tax return, but it's going to be helpful for us as well to see how many people that got paid in this example, and there are 2 people. So we'll go back to our tax return and we will enter 2. So based on filing your own tax return, not only saves you money, helps you keep your business as some of the business expenses low if you want to do it yourself, but at the same time it helps you sharpen, or it helps you fine-tune how you track your business transactions, so that whether you file it yourself or you hire somebody to file the return for you, you know the exact information to provide for your tax return to be filed. So if you know, you are required to know how many people you pay, then you'll have a way to track them as well. So if that's just you, that's one person. So now line 2, wages, tips, and other compensation. So you will total all the wages that you pay during that quarter you are filing for the gross payroll. So we'll go back to because we are going to be doing that quite a bit. Let's close out some sheets here. Okay, so we are going to find the total wages payout during the quarter, and we have 3 months here, and the summary tab should be able to help us with that. So the total wages, we are looking for the total wages, but this one is, the total is on that side is for 3 months, and it is 12,000. I believe this spreadsheet is in our free download. So as I've been using it in this example, I added another tab based on the need that I encountered. So quarter 1, the total wages and officer compensation paid is 12,000. So again, the more you file it yourself, the better you'll know how to track your expenses. So we are going to put 12,000, and based on the IRS instruction that you should have downloaded, it says to now round to the whole dollar amount. So our dollar amount is, the cents is 0, so we are just going to put 0 there as well. And if a line is $0, you will leave it blank except line 1, 2, and line 12, total tax. But you can read more in the instructions on that on page 7. But let's continue. So 12,000 is the total wages. So they are asking line 3, federal income tax withheld from wages, tips, and other compensation. So if you have been paying wages to yourself, you are an officer of your own LLC tax as an S Corp, you are an employee of your business. So let's assume you didn't hire anyone else. You are the business owner and you are an employee of your own business because you are LLC truly as an S Corp. So when you are paying yourself or you are paying anyone else, you are going to withhold federal income tax, social security tax, Medicaid tax out of the employee's salary, and you, the employer, you will pay a portion of social security tax and Medicaid tax. So what you withheld and what your business added the business portion of, that's what you are going to put on Form 941 for the quarter 1 that it covers. So in this example, line 3, they are asking for federal income tax, and that employer does not pay that. The employee is the one that pay that. So you are going to withhold that from the employee's salary, and if you did, it should be in your payroll spreadsheet and you look for it. So in our example is the total federal income tax withheld and is $747. So we will enter $747. So if you do not know how to withhold federal income tax, let's see how it is done on this payroll spreadsheet. I might probably have another video to explain how to manually calculate payroll taxes. But in this example, while we are filing Form 941, I can show you, if you are wondering how to estimate federal income tax, you will need the employee W-4. So if your employee does not have a recent W-4, you want to give them the latest version to complete, and you will use that to enter information on your payroll spreadsheet. But I'm not going to go through it too deep. So let's pull an example of W-4. And you'll need W-4 and you'll need IRS publication 15T. So you'll have the W-4 and you need the marital status, the status of the employee, what they check for step 1C. You'll need that, and you'll need step 2, whether step 2 box is checked or not. So if that's just you, the business owner, and you are paying yourself because you have an S Corp, and Maybe your W4, you might want to check boss 2 so that you withhold a lot from your payroll, because as an NLC tax, as an S corp, the profit from the business will flow to your 1040. So you'll pay tax on your share of the profit. So if you are paying yourself a salary already as an officer of the business, you might want to use that opportunity to collect more tax that will cover the share of the profit that will flow to your tax return 1040 that you have to pay tax on if you think you'll owe tax on that profit. Does that make sense? So in this example, we are checking the boss 2 to withhold more tax. So that's one way to do as well. If you think you have multiple sources of income and you don't want to make estimated tax payment to IRS when one of the business is paying you and you are going to withhold income tax on that salary, you might want to just profit from there to withhold more. So that will depend on how you complete the W4 for yourself. So, and you will take into consideration if step 4 has something on it as well, or step 3. So that's the latest version of W4. So with that information in mind, you'll go to publication 15T. So we can open it here. And for this stuff, we have one, I think I can just look it up here, but yeah, the merit studies, we chose single so that we can withhold at the higher tax brackets, if that makes sense. And again, is so that we don't have to make estimate taxes, aside. So in this example, that's the reason. But you'll see what works for you, and then boss 2 is checked for one, boss 2 is not checked for the other, so that you can see how both will influence the amount you will hold from the employee's income. And yeah, so that's that. So now we should have our publication 15 open. So publication 15, let's go all the way to the beginning of it. Federal income tax withholding methods, and that's the latest version. You have multiple options. So 2 options you might take a look. One will be the wage bracket method table for manual payroll system for Form W4 from 2020 or later. So if you can just ask people working with you to file a new version of W4 so that you can just work with that latest version. And then there is percentage method table for manual payroll system with the Form W4 from 2020 or later. And yeah, we might take a look at that, but the one we are going to work with is the wage brackets. But they have the percentage for manual payroll system, and then they have the wage brackets. So if you regularly pay payroll, pay wages, those 2 options might work for you because they are periodically payroll system that they are designed for. But they do have other method as well that you can take a look at to see if you like them better. But publication 15T is what you will use to help you estimate the income tax to withhold. So we are going to go to page 12 for the wage method bracket. So pretty much the worksheet that comes that is on that section 2. You can incorporate that into your payroll spreadsheet so that you don't have to come and use it here for everyone, but you can just have it on your spreadsheet. And that's what the payroll spreadsheet pretty much is using. Is for the task, the wage brackets for manual wage bracket method for manual payroll system, and the worksheet is pretty much incorporated into that spreadsheet in some way. So I'm going to probably have another video to go through the process how you will use the worksheet, but I'm not going to do that in this. But what I'm going to show is if you think you have all the information you need, you just go to the table. So you pay attention to the payroll period. So you need to know your payroll period. So they do have that here. And in our example, we are using monthly payroll period. So pretty much we are paying every month. We are paying monthly. We are paying wages once a month. Does that make sense in this example? So that will be monthly pay period that we will look for. But if you pay wages every 2 weeks, then you'll go with bi-weekly. If you pay payroll or you pay wages weekly, then you'll go with the weekly period. So that's why they have the period, so that you choose the right one. And we are going to scroll to the monthly pay period. And just make sure you stay within the 2020 or later table. And we are still in the bi-weekly. See my monthly. If you pay twice a month, I think bi-weekly will be twice a week, and see my monthly will be twice a month. So that'll be every 2 weeks. So sorry about that, but I'm sure you know what work for your case. So that'll be twice a month for semi-monthly. We are looking for monthly. And now we have monthly pay period for W4 form for 2020 or later. So now that you find the table, you are going to take the employee's wage that you paid at each pay day. So we are going to go back to and in case you are wondering, we chose the pay period. The pay period is monthly, so we have 12, and then we are working with annual wages. So if you are working with hourly, you will use that. So that's the pay, and for one, and that's for January, and that's monthly. And we pretty much pull the worksheet to the worksheet to the spreadsheet. So, and using the W4. So this employee want to be tasked as a single, and boss 2 is checked. So we need those. We need the salary paid. We need the merit status, and we need if schedule 2 is checked. Nothing else is on. So you need those information to locate the estimated tax to withhold, and it is called tentative tax to withhold. So you will use that 2,000 that is paid. You want at least that dollar amount, but less than that dollar amount. So we are looking for 2,000. So we find 2,000. So we cannot use the one on top because it has to be less than that. Since we pay exactly 2,000, is at least 2,000, but less than 2,030, and that's the section we should be. So now we need to find the merit status. Too fast. And the merit status In fact, I should even look at the page below because I think I'm closer to the bottom than to the top. So we found the dollar amount. So now we need to find the merit status, and it want to be taxed. The person want to be taxed as a single, so that will be the last colon. But then you have two options there, two subcolons. So if the box is checked, the box 2 is checked on W4, the person want to withhold a lot of tax. So you'll take that into consideration, and then we use the second sub box under single. That'll be this one. So for the next employee, the boss is not checked. Because the boss is not checked, we are going to use the standard withholding. So for the next employee, they both collected the same salary. So the next employee, we will use the first subcolon under single because both want to be taxed as single. One didn't check the boss 2 and the other one checked the boss 2. So we will use those two sections of single to withhold tax for those two employees. So let's go back to the salary again. We highlight that row already. Why did I went all the way to see my monthly? But anyway, let's go back to monthly. Okay. So 2000 we highlighted. And I think we should have, we have the single. So the latest colon is 163. So for 2000, 163. So we are going to put that 163, and that's that for the one that has boss check. So the one that does not have the boss check, we will use the standard withholding colon for it. And that's the first subcolon for single, and that is 86. So you can see the difference between the two taxes for the same $2,000 that those two people earn. So one we will withhold $86 and the other will withhold $163. So $86 for the second one, and that's $86. And that happened in January. So in February, maybe let's just continue. So, and that's the tentative. So if the W4 has some amount claimed for dependent, then you'll take that into consideration. That means they don't want a lot of tax withhold from their income, so you have to subtract whatever that is. So you have to take that income, and step 4 is some adjustment as well. So you can incorporate that into your spreadsheet, and that's what we have. But we just, for step 4, we only incorporated for C. Now the other two. So we have a section for 3, and then we have a section for 4C for more tasks. If the person wants to pay a specific dollar amount to be withheld from their return, they'll put on that W4C, and and then you will put it on yours as well, so that the calculation can take those into consideration. So but anyway, since the W4 example we are using does not have anything of the sort, the amount we pull from schedule 50 from publication 15T is what we will withhold for January. And for February, if you pay the same amount in salary, it will be the same amount of tax to withhold and match the same. So that's what the example is here. So now that we explain how to estimate the federal income tax return, now we can go back to our summary tab. Okay, and we can go to our tax return that we are filing. So they ask us the total federal income tax withheld for that period. So we can, and that's 747, and by month is $249, and for that 3 months is $747. So you will put it, if you have a way to record yours, you will put it on line 3. So, and that's that. And line 4, if no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security, you check that box. In this case, we are not going to check that box because we've had Social Security and Medicaid tax and federal income tax return. So line 5A, total taxable Social Security wages. So we'll go back. In some way, it's already giving you the rates that you are going to use. So you need to track the taxable Social Security wages to enter there. So we do have, in this case, it's going to be the same $12,000. Yeah, is the tax here, but I think I'll work with the summary. But yeah, it's going to be that 12,000 because it is subject to all the employment taxes. So we are going to go back here, and we are going to put 12,000. And Social Security, you withhold 6.2% from employees' wages, and your business pays 6.2% of Social Security. So if the employee salary exceed a certain threshold, and I believe is 160,000, I'm not sure, it will be in the publication. You will stop collecting Social Security tax from that employee's salary that exceeded that threshold, and your business is not going to pay Social Security past that threshold, but you will continue withholding Medicaid tax. So let's see if we can find that part. So when you are filing the tax return, it's good you open the instructions as well, and if you need more information on a line you are filing, you can look it up so that you can read more about it, and you'll be able to find it on page 10. So 160,200. So when the total wages or compensation reach 160,200, you stop withholding Social Security on that employee's wages past that, but you will continue withholding Medicaid tax. So when the employee's salary or wages or compensation reach $200,000, you will withhold additional Medicaid tax on that employee's payroll that exceeded that 200,000. So that employee will pay that 1.45% of Medicaid tax and 0.9%. But your business will only pay 1.45%. So you'll find more of that on page probably 11 or 12. Page 12. So when the salary exceeds $200,000, the employee, you will withhold 0.9% additional tax from the employee salary, but your business is not going to pay that. You only do 1.45 for the business and 1.45 for the employee, plus that 0.9% for the employee, if that makes sense. So, but if for Q1, if you are within below those thresholds, you won't have to worry about it, but it's good to be aware of it. So, taxable Social Security wages is $12,000. So they say that amount coming by 0.124. So that's the employee portion of Social Security tax and the employer portion of Social Security tax. So you can use your calculator. That'll be 12,000 times 0.124, and that is 1488. So you'll enter 1488. And line 5A, sick leave. You don't have anything for that, you leave a blank. If you do, you might want to read the instruction on how you'll proceed. Line 5A to Y, for family leave, we leave a blank. Taxable Social Security tip. So, the taxable, if your employees collect tips, the employer and the employee will pay Social Security tax on those tips. So that's why it's 0.12 for when the family leave and the sick leave is only from the employee's salary. Therefore, is 6.2%. So we are going to leave line 5B alone. Line 5C, taxable Medicare and wage and tips. So you are going to put the both wages and tips together, and it's going to be that same 12,000 times 0.024, and that's 1.45 for employee and 1.45 for employer. So we are going to do 12,000 times 0.024, and that's 348. And it's good to calculate those on your payroll spreadsheet and use that to double check. So we have so we have Social Security, Social Security 1488, we have that. Medicaid tax for employer and employee 348, we have that as well. So good. So line D, taxable wages and tips subject to additional Medicare tax withholding, and you can see only the employee is doing that. So you are going to add the portion of the wages that you pay that is subject to that additional Medicare tax withholding. So that's what you'll put here. That's the portion of the wages you pay that is subject to that additional. So you have to track the salary you are paying your employees, and the employee that salary exceeds $200,000, the excess past that $200,000 will go on line 5D, and you'll come by 0.09 to find the tax, the Medicaid tax, additional Medicaid tax that that you need to withhold from the employee's salary. Line 5E, total Social Security and Medicaid tax. So you are going to total the column 2 from 5A line to 5D line. So we are going to use our calculator here, 1488 plus 348, and is 1836. And we can use our payroll spreadsheet to double check for accuracy. So let me first check 1836. Okay, so we can pull the spreadsheet again, and total Social Security and Medicaid tax is 1836, and that's what we have there. So that's good. Fat assume It's kind of huge. I think that's too huge. Okay, still is too huge. Okay, I think that will work. So now section F, line 5F, we don't have anything for it, we leave it blank. So line 6, total tax before adjustment. So that will take line 3, federal income tax, plus line 5E, total social security and Medicaid tax. So we are going to use the calculator. So 1836 plus 747, and that'll be 2583. 2583 0 cents. So we can double check with our payroll spreadsheet. 2583, and it is correct. Okay. Current quarter adjustment for fraction. So we are going to leave it blank, but if the amount you withheld, let's go back again. If the amount you withheld from your employee's salary, it is off by a few cents compared to what the Form 941 asks you to withhold when you are doing those multiplication from the total social security wages times 0.124, 0.124. Yeah, so if the dollar amount is, different from what your payroll spreadsheet say you withheld, and it is due to rounding, then you can make the adjustment on line 7, and it could be positive number or negative number, and the publication should have information on that you can read about as well, and is on page 13. But in this example, we are going to leave it blank. So line 8, adjustment for sick leave pay, we are going to leave it blank. Line 9, adjustment for tips and group term insurance, we are going to leave it blank. But if it's related to you, you might want to read it in the instructions to see how you will make those adjustments. In our case here, in this example, we are going to leave it blank. So line 8 was for sick leave adjustment. Line 9 is for tips and group term. And they do have information about it as well. Okay. So total tax after adjustment is to combine line 6 all the way to line 9. And in our case, it's going to be 2583. Line 11, qualify small business payroll tax. So if that's something your business is qualified for, you will need to complete Form 8974 and attach it. And in this case, we are going to leave it blank, but you can read more about it in the instructions. So line 11B, non-refundable portion of the credit for family leave and sick leave. You can read the instruction on those family leave and sick leave if you offer those benefits to your employees, to see what that is about. At the end of the publication, there are worksheets that you might need to complete to calculate those non-refundable and refundable credits. So we are going to go back to 13 where we are. Okay. And in this example, we are going to leave a blank. So we will continue to page 2 of Form 941 for 2023 quarter 1. And the top is asking for your business legal name, and you'll enter that like the way you have it on the page 1. You'll enter the business identification number. Part 1, 11D is non-refundable credit. We leave a blank. 11G is the total of non-refundable credits. It is 0 in our case. We leave a blank. So line 12, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit. We are going to subtract. We are going to do line 10, total tax after adjustment, minus line 11G, and in our case it's going to be the same as line 10, 2583. And let's see if that's what we have, 2583. Yes. So line 13, total deposit for this quarter, including overpayment applied from prior quarter. So if you make deposit or you have a refund from prior quarters or prior year that you want to apply toward this, then you will put the dollar amount here. And those overpayments should be related to, those forms. So in this case, we are going to assume we made monthly deposit and the total deposit is $2,500. Okay, so that means you need to track deposit you have been making to know how much, to be able to know the deposit you made by quarter. So line 13C, refundable portion of credit. So we didn't complete the credit portion, so we are going to leave a blank. But if again it's related to you, you can read the instruction on the credit session and to see how to complete that worksheet that we just come across. So line 13C will remain blank. Line 13E will remain blank. Line 13G is the total of those refundable credits, and 13A the total deposit. So we are going to, ProMath is going to be the total from line 13A all the way to line 13F, and is $2,500. If you didn't make any deposit, your line will remain blank, and 13G will be blank as well. But in this example, we are putting a dollar amount there, so let's leave it like that. So now line 14, balance due. The gray lines are lines you don't do anything about. They reserve it in case they want to add that session to those lines. So line 14, balance due. So the balance due is for you to compare line 12, the total tax, to line 13G. So line 12, 2583, to line 13G, 2500. If line 12 is more than line 13G, you owe tax, and in this case it is. So the difference between the two is $83. 2583 minus 2500 is $83. So you are going to put that $83 on line 4. $83. So if line 13 is more than line 12, then you have a refund. You'll put it on line 15, overpayment, and you check the box, one of the box, if you want the refund to be sent to you, or if you want to apply to the next tax return, you do that, but you put the difference on line 15 and then you check the box. But in our case, we owe $83, so it will go on line 14. So part 2. Line 16. Line 16 has 3 boxes. You will check one of them. So if line 12 on this return is less than 2,500, then you will check that first box. And you didn't incur, any tax liability of $100,000 the next day. So, because if you incur $100,000 liability on any day, it automatically puts you as a semi-weekly depositor. So, if line 12 is 2,583, so it is more than 2,500. Therefore, we cannot check the first box. But in your case, if line 12 is like 500 or 300 or even $0, then you'll check the first box. But in our case, it's more than 2,500. Therefore, we have 2 boxes to check from. So, are you a monthly deposit scheduler or a semi-scheduled depositor? So if you don't know what those 2 means, we will talk about it. But what applies to us will be the second box, the monthly deposit. So how do you know the schedule, the payroll tax deposit schedule to choose for your business? You choose that schedule at the beginning of the year. So we are in 2023. So in January, you'll choose the deposit schedule that you want to follow for your business. And you'll stick to that schedule for the rest of the year, unless any day of the year you incur $100,000 in tax liability. Then it'll automatically drop you to semi-weekly a deposit schedule, and you stay on that schedule for the rest of the year. You'll pay that liability the next day, but then you'll continue for the rest of the year as semi-weekly deposit schedule. But you have 2 choices to choose from. So the instructions should have more for you to read about, but pretty much the way it works is, if your business is not new, you have a look back, 2 years you look back to look for. So you'll pull your Form 941 that you file I will say July 1st, 2021 to June 30th of 2022. You look at the 4 quarters, line 12 of those 4 quarters. And if line 12, the total tax is more than $50,000 for those 4 quarters, between May 2021 and May 2022 is more than $50,000, you are a semi-weekly depositor. That's what you will choose. But if it is less than $50,000, then you are a monthly depositor. And the instructions should have that. And if you have filed Form 944 in 2021 instead of Form 941, then you look, or if you have filed Form 944 in 2021 and 2022, then you will look at Form 944 for 2021. Form 944 is annual federal employment tax return, while Form 941 is quarterly federal employment tax return. So Form 941, you file it once a year. So you pull Form 944. Form 944, you file it once a year. Form 941, you file it 4 times a year. It's quarterly return. So you'll pull the Form 944 that you file for 2021. And if the total tax liability on that form is more than $50,000, then you are semi-weekly depositor. But if it's less than $50,000, then you can choose monthly deposit schedule. And they explain it on page 17 of the instruction for Form 941, 2023. So July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022. If that exceed $50,000, then you are a weekly depositor. But if it's less, you are a monthly depositor. And if you file Form 944 before, then you pull 2021 Form 944 to look for that total liability that is on it. So if you have not filed either one of those forms because you are, your business is new this year, then you can just choose monthly deposit. If you have employees and you are withholding payroll taxes, you can choose the monthly deposit. But in any case, if at any date you have $100,000 in tax liability, you'll make that payment the next day. It's not income, it's tax liability. You'll make that payment the next day, and you will move from monthly deposit to semi-weekly deposit schedule for the rest of the year. Okay, so but you can read publication 15, Employer's Guide, for more information. But yeah, they have. And if you are a semi-weekly deposit, then you will complete Schedule B of Form 941. And we can take a look at that Schedule B if I have it. Doesn't seem like I have it here. Yeah, I do have it. And pretty much based on the form you are going to file will help you know how you need to track those expenses. So for the semi-weekly, you pretty much need to track your daily payroll taxes. And the payroll spreadsheet I'm using is that quite designed for that. Yeah, so there is pretty much have it by month, and you have the 30 days of the month to list the payroll liability, and the total liability for the quarter should match your line 12. So they have it for so pretty much it is by quarter. So they have 3 months worth of space on it, and the total should match your line 12. Must equal line 12 of Form 941 for the quarter that you are filing for when you total all 3 together. So let's go back to our form. So we check the monthly schedule because we don't have tax liability that is over $50,000 from 2021 to 2022 in based on our example. So therefore we are using monthly deposit schedule. So that means we need to show the tax liability by month. So we'll go to our schedule, our payroll spreadsheet, and probably I need to make a little bit smaller. Okay. And the quarter may not work for us. They are asking for the monthly expenses, so we will use the monthly expenses here, and the total tax before adjustment is ACC1. I don't know if it's too small for you to see it, but is ACC1. So pretty much is the federal income tax, social security, and Medicaid ACC1 for each one of those months. So we are just going to put ACC1 for month 1, and for February ACC1, month 2, and month 3 ACC1, and the total is ACC1 times 3 is 2583 must equal line 12. So we can go to line 12, 2583. Okay, so in March. Then we will leave the second box alone because it's for semi-weekly scheduled deposit. So now part 3 of Form 941 2023 quarter 1, page 3. You still need to add your business legal name, your business EIN number, line 17 is if your business has closed or stopped paying wages, you check that box. In our case, we are going to leave a blank. And the final date, we leave a blank. But if it's applied to you, you need to do it. And that means you are filing the return up to the time that transition happened. So, and if you are a seasonal employer and you are not going to file Form 941 for the season that you don't have employee, you will check that box. But in our case, it's not applicable. We are not going to check it. And if you do not check that box, that means you are filing Form 941 for every single quarter, even if your tax is 0. And we do have a video for when you don't have employee or when you pay 0 in wages, that you can see how that is completed. It's just everything is 0, 0, 0. You leave them blank beside line 1, 2, and 12 where you put 0. So line 18, we are going to leave a blank. Line 19 to 28, we are going to leave them blank as well. But if it's related to you, you want to read the instruction and then complete them. So part 4, may we speak with a third party this name? We are just going to put no. But if you choose yes, you need to put the name and the phone number of the person that you want IRS to contact, as well as a PIN that the person is going to use for identification purposes. So part 5, who must sign your Form 941? So if you are a sole proprietor, you the owner of the business, you will sign the return. If you are an LLC and you file Form 1065 partnership tax return, the members of the business that are ineligible of the business activities, any of them could sign the return. If you are an LLC, that's as an S corp, any officer, the president, the vice president, or any officer of the business should be able to sign the Form 941. So you can read more about it in the instructions on page 20, I believe. And if you want to read more about season or how it works, you have it on page 19. And page 20, you can read more about whose signature is legal in front of IRS when it comes to signing your business tax return. Okay. Pay preparer use only. So if you are filing for your own business, you leave this section alone. If you are filing for a client and the client is going to pay you for the tax return you file for that client, then you enter your name, your business name, your business address and phone number and zip code, your business EIN number, your PTN, that's a number IRS assigned to tax preparers. And if you are self-employed, then you check that box, otherwise you leave that box blank. And after you print the return out, you can sign it and date it. But if you are filing for your own business, even if you are an employee of your own business, it does not mean your business is paying you for filing the return. So you are going to leave this section blank. And that's what we are going to do. But let's complete the signature portion to show you an example here. And the phone number. Okay. So, and then that form 941 is done. Okay, you'll notice that we owe $83. So now, should we make a payment or make a deposit? So I will say if you're already making tax deposit, you must just go ahead and make deposits of that amount you owe. It is easier that way. But I did it like that so that I can show both sides. So, but it'll be good to read the instructions on how to make, if you are qualified to make payment with your Form 941. So should you make payment with Form 941 or should you make deposit? So if line 12, the total tax, in our case, it was $25.83. So if line 12 is for the quarter is less than $2,500, you didn't incur a tax liability of $100,000 at any day of the year, then you can make payment. If you are going to pay in full, you can make payment with the Form 941. So if you are a monthly scheduled depositor, like the way we chose in our example, and you are making payment in accordance of the accuracy of deposit rule, in this case, the amount of payment may be $2,025 or more. So, if you are a monthly deposit and you have been making payment properly, and then you have, more than $2,500 on line 12, they say you can pay. And pretty much what that means is, maybe it was the last month tax liability that that puts you past that threshold. I don't know if I'm explaining it well. So if you are making, did you see the way we have 2583 for line 12? Yeah, so if you are making monthly deposits and then line 14, the balance due, is more than $2,500, they say you can make payments. But anyway, if you are already making deposit, I will just suggest you make deposit of the amount you owe on line 14. But because whatever we owe is $83 is now $2,500, I like to use that as an example because that is kind of gray area here. Usually when line 12 is more than $2,500 or $2,500 or more, you make deposits of the amount you owe on line 14. So it's not about line 14, but it's about line 12. So if your total liability on line 12 is $2,500 or more, then you make a deposit. But if you already have a schedule deposit and you have been following that, and you have, then you can make a payment of $2,500 or more. Pretty much what I will say is, in that case, if your line 12 is more than $2,500, whatever payment you owe, you can pay. Pretty much, I think that's what they are saying. But I will say that if you make deposits already, you might just as well make a deposit and save your paycheck and save your checkbook. That's what I mean. But anyway, it may not apply to everyone. So if, for instance, your line 12 is like maybe $500, for instance, is $500, you didn't make any deposits, and then, so that means your line 14, so that means your deposit for 13G will be 0, and you have 500 on line 12 total. So that means your line 14 will be 500 that you owe. So in that instance, you will complete the voucher and make that payment if you are going to pay that 500 in full with the tax return and on time. So that's what the first option is. So if line 12 is less than $2,500 and you didn't incur $100,000 in one day in tax liability and you are going to pay in full, then you can make your payment with Form 941. So you will meet that first requirement. In this example though, we are more within the second exception. Okay, so now let's go to, and there, if you are going to make payment, you have the instruction how to complete the check. You'll make it payable to United States Treasury. You'll put your business EIN on it. You'll put Form 941 and you'll put the tax period and the quarter. So first quarter 2023 or things like that on it. So I will say it's good to use a check instead of a money order because you'll have more space on the check to write things on it. So again, when you send it, when it's cash out, you will notice it in your bank account, and that's a second proof that IRS receive your return. So, but again, if you're already making deposits, that means you already have EFTPS account open with IRS, might just make a deposit. But if you do not make a deposit and you have, line 12 that is less than 2,500, then you might just make payment with your Form 941 because you made that exception, the first exception. So how do you complete Form 941? So you will enter the dollar amount that you owe. In our case, is $83. You'll put your business EIN number on line 1, and you'll choose the quarter, and it's the first quarter, and you'll put your business legal name, and you'll put your business address. Okay. And what you'll do is you'll print out the Form 941, you'll staple it, you'll print out the Form 941V, and then you write the check based on the instructions, how to write the check, and you put in an envelope, you put the Form 941, Form 941V, and the check. You do not staple those three things together, so you'll have three separate files in the envelope. Form 941 is like 3 pages. You staple those together. If you have Schedule B, that'll go with it, or Form 8974 for small business, something. You can staple those together to the Form 941. But then you'll have the second file, Form 941V, if you complete it, and then you'll have the check. So if you are not going to send in payments, you do not complete Form 941V. You leave it blank, you don't even print it out. If you owe tax and you want to make deposit, which you can, IRS has instructions on that, and you will make ETF deposit using FTPS. So I don't know, let's go check it out. It should be on line 14 session. And yes, since that's where you owe money. Okay, so you make deposit via EFT, which is, I believe, electronic fund transfer. I'm not sure, I don't remember, but via EFTPS system. So you have to open that account, and so you do not, but if you are using a software to file your payroll tax return and that allow you to make payment, you can make payment, but you do not use that route to make a deposit. Their payment and deposit are two different things. So let's read what they are saying here. If you were required to make federal tax deposit, pay the amount shown on line 14 by EFT. If you weren't required to make federal tax deposit, or you are making monthly scheduled deposit, or you are a monthly scheduled depositor making a payment under the accuracy of the deposit rule, you may pay the amount shown on line 14 by EFT, credit card, debit card, check, money order, or EFW. Who is here? Is it Jaden? What is it? Okay, sorry. I will come and talk to him when I'm done. Put some oil on it, Gabriel. So if you pay by EFT, credit card, debit card, file your tax using without payment address. I will see. If you pay by check or money order, make it payable too. So we read that already. But I'm looking more for information. You'll find more information on publication 15, Employer's Tax Guide. And I don't know, maybe I will. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about it, but I thought they will say more information here, but I'm not seeing what I'm looking for. But if you just don't use those like EFW to make deposit. You use EFT to make a deposit and it go through EFTPS system. So let's go back to IRS website. And let me just type irs.gov. And you should be able to, when we are under pay, you will see electronic federal tax payment system, EFTPS. And that's what you use to make deposits. So they will show you, you can read through it, and you will set an account with them, and you will be able to make your EFT. You should make to make deposit via EFT. and they do have a document here that you can download. Okay, but anyway, you get the point. But let's go back to our publication. So now we complete the form. So where will you mail your form 941? So you might want to read the instructions, and I believe it will be on page 7. And you'll open the IRS instruction for form 941 2023, and on page 7 they have the addresses. So you first locate your state, and they have it. The first row has from Middle West to West, no, from Middle West to East of the US, and the second row has from Middle West to West states. So you locate your address, and then you decide if you are going to add payment to the envelope that has your form 941. You will choose the address for with payment : that correspond to the row where your state is. And in this case, when we have $83 that we put on that voucher, we will select with payment : address that correspond to the second row. If that $83, example, we decided to make a deposit, then we will now complete form 941, and we won't add a check payment to form 941 either. We will now complete form 941V if we decided to make a deposit of $83, and we will complete that form 941. We will leave form 941V blank, and we will choose without a payment : address that corresponds to the states, to the row that where we have our states, and that will be without payment address. But in the example that we are using, because we complete the form 941V, which is a voucher, therefore a check needs to be added to it, we will go with a payment address. You put that on the envelope, you put your 3 documents in it: form 941, form 941V, and the check. You seal it and you mail it via USPS certified mail to have a tracking number, and you put that receipt with a copy of your form, and you keep it for your business for your business record. So when you are done completing the form 941, you review it, you print it out, and then you sign it and date it, and you make a copy for your business. So the original one that you sign, you put in the envelope with form 941V that we completed with the check, and then you mail it to the address with payment that correspond to the states your business is located, and you keep that USPS receipt and the tracking number with the copy of the form 941 for your business record. And the check that you wrote and the 941 voucher, you might want to make a copy of those as well and keep it for your business record as well, and keep all together. So that's how you file form 941 for quarter 1. And let's come. I completed before. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Afiavi Liberman, creators of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel, and ninasoup.com, our blog. So we thank you very much, you all that watch our videos. We thank you very much for your time. We thank you very much for all your comments. And we thank you very much, you all that subscribe to our channel. We share different ways to save money and different ways to make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not rely on your employer to put food on your table. And one way you save money is by filing your business tax return. When your business is young, filing your business tax return allows you to keep your business expenses low. And at the same time, you are learning a skill, how to file the return while you don't have a lot of expenses to report on it. And when you have a lot of expenses to report on your tax return and you hire a professional to file it for you, you will know by then how to track your business expenses and income to file each type of business tax return that your business is required to file. Therefore, you know the information to provide to the tax preparer that you ask to file your business tax return. So on our blog, we do have, federal tax form and links. We do have free download section as well, where you can find financial and business templates that if one is useful for your business, you can, for your personal finances, you can download it. You don't need to submit your email to access them. And the payroll spreadsheet that I use is, I believe it will be this one. We have multiple payroll spreadsheets, and some are more elaborate than others. And if you need a payroll spreadsheet to help you, track your payroll expenses, you can take a look at the different payroll expenses spreadsheet we have there, the payroll spreadsheet that we have there, to see, which one is better fit for your business. I'm looking for the one that I click on. Okay, so if it said that to you, you might want to open it. Why is it in the protect view? Is it because I'm trying to open two? Okay, save this one and close it, and we can try it again. Okay, I don't know if I have both with the same title or what, but yeah, and you can just download it and make adjustment to it to fit your business need. And I will try to have a video to show how to complete it, but the one that I have there, I don't know if you can notice it, but it is now the same way. And when it says that you can just enable editing, it does not have I don't know if you notice, the other one, I have another tab that says new, and then I have some total at the bottom. So those are recent adjustments that I made. But so they are now on the version that I have in the free download session. But they are, they are just some summarization of those that I did. So, but yeah, you will be able to find few type of payroll spreadsheet that we have to see which one is better fit for your model, if you are supposed to complete Schedule B of Form 941, which is semi-weekly deposit schedule, because that one is asking for daily tasks, payroll tasks, this spreadsheet is not designed really for that. This one is summarizing it for you by month. So you might need to add, you will be tracking everything daily, but it's not going to be summarizing them for you daily, because the summary tabs are by month. So you could, add more tab to it to track, to total those daily deposits as well. You can make adjustment to it. But thank you so much. And I think there is something else and what I think I wanted to point out, but anyway, yeah. And thank you for your time. Oh, when Form 941 is due? Well, in case you don't know, you might want to check the instructions. Quarter 1 is due by April 30th. So on page 6, they have that. So the first quarter is January, February, March, and it is due by April 30th, because that end at the end of March, and you have 1 month to send in that return. Thank you.